And we're live. Sorry, this is cheesy. Hi, how are you? And welcome to the P.G.M Show. I'm talking really loud because I'm talking over this canned applause. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody in the chat. Rolando, good to see you, Shanti. And sorry, I can't pronounce your name. How are you, everybody? Anyway, so it's good to be here. My guest, you will all know because he's done the YouTube traps probably for a fair bit now. And anyway, this is my first ever guest from the USA on my show, my small New Zealand channel where I sit here in Wellington City. So let's get him on without further ado. Here is Josh, SITHCAREBEAR, and the other half of SCARIF After Dark.
Yay!
Hang on. Well, stop that one up. Here we go.
Love the thunderous applause. Yes, as it should be.
Oh, good.
Hey, Peter. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you? We
Happy to be here.
I'm absolutely so excited to actually have you as my first international guest.
I know. I feel honored, man. That's great.
Sporting.
That's why. Yeah, exactly. That's why I wore my Magnum PI shirt. You know, I got to represent for the states. So.
It is so lovely to have you on the P.G.M Show, because really I think the first question out of my mouth, if I can get it out, is I think we first met basically on from my indication would be Paul's Collectibles, right?
Yeah. When I was co-hosting for the Book of Boba Fett series with him, yeah, you were in the chat. It was great. I mean, it was every week you were there, and I was like, oh man, okay, who's this guy? That's cool. So yeah,
because I had a vested
here
interest
we are.
And that was Timur Morrison, mate. So that's what I had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't the problem with that show, but we won't get into that. You know, I can rant for a long time about Book of Boba Fett. So.
Well, I may be with you on that because there's one problem I didn't like, and it's not about this guy, but it's about the director.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think Robert Rodriguez handled the series properly. It just didn't look like Star Wars to me. He made it look cheap. And I really didn't like that. And I mean, even Tamara Morrison has issues with the way that they handled Boba Fett, and he didn't like how often they wanted him to remove the helmet. He felt like Boba should be seen, not heard. He didn't think he needed to have so much dialogue. There was a lot more that was supposed to flesh out his time with the Tusken Raiders, and all of that got cut and condensed. And yeah, I mean, it was just a huge mess. And they actually, those 2 episodes that were basically Mandalorian episodes were Mandalorian episodes that they plugged in because they cut episodes because it was so bad. So, I mean, it was a mess.
It's a shame, really, but I do hear, and we'll move on to you, Josh. I do hear that they are doing a Book of Boba Fett too.
I've heard that, yeah.
In the works, and now that Bob Iger might have something to say about the setup for Disney Plus, because he's back. It's not Bob Chapek. Not Bob Chapek anymore. So that might be the guiding light. And
well, I feel like all of that was on purpose anyway. I mean, they got rid of Iger, brought in Chapek, had Chapek do a bunch of things that, you know, made different sides happy and at the same time made other sides angry, and then it allowed Iger to swoop back in and be the hero to everyone. So I don't know if I buy it 100%. We'll see. You know, the proof's in the pudding. You know, I'm like, if they start producing stuff that is of the quality that it should be and stops pushing a bunch of agendas and focuses just on actual pure storytelling, then I'll be behind him. But otherwise, I'm skeptical.
Fair enough. So, I mean, I can actually segue into that, and probably go off on segue to that. I'm going to ask you, what was your childhood like?
Angry, apparently. No, it was.
Yeah.
My childhood was.
Bad segue, people, but I had to
Yeah.
do it.
No. My childhood was tumultuous at best. It was a lot of moving around, a lot of struggle, a lot of strife. But what I always had was my toys. And I really feel like that's why I still hold on to that to this day, because it was those moments sitting there alone in my room on the floor playing with my my Kenner Star Wars action figures or my GI Joes, and just at being at peace. I mean, even still as an adult, I look back on that time, and that was the happiest time of my life, even though there was so much going on around, because of just those moments of zen, so to speak, that I was able to experience through my connection with these icons of the pop culture that I was in love with.
What toys did you grow up with?
Oh man, I mean, I started with Star Wars. I would say the first two action figures I ever got was Obi-Wan Kenobi and Chewbacca. Oddly enough, I didn't buy a villain. My next go around, I got Vader. I think I didn't get him because he wasn't there. I think that they didn't have one on the shelf at that particular time, which was kind of odd because back then, they actually had stuff on the pegs like they are supposed to. But yeah, so I got him the next time around. But yeah, Kenner Star Wars was where I started, and then I would say I segued from there actually probably into Masters of the Universe. The happiest Christmas memory I have is waking up Christmas morning in '82 and having Castle Grayskull and He-Man and Man at Arms and Skeletor and Beastman and Battle Cat and the whole first like wave just all set up. My dad had actually stayed up all night like opening everything and setting it all up and putting all the stickers on so it was there and ready for me to play. And that was actually, speaking of my childhood, that was actually the last Christmas that I spent with my father. And he's now passed away, but it was
Same with my dad.
still the greatest memory that I have. I mean, I'll always cherish him for giving me that. Then I would say after He-Man, I started to get into GI Joe pretty heavily. I really love the Joes. And then after that, I kind of started to sort of get out of the toys and into the girls, and and then in the early 90s, well, mid 90s, when they started Powers of the Force 2, even though the figures were god awful, it still rekindled my love for Star Wars collecting. So I got into that, and then I again followed the same pattern. I got it. My next thing was the 2000X He-Man action figures, and then that has now led into me collecting Motu Origins and Masterverse and Black Series and Marvel Legends and McFarlane series and DC Multiverse and NECA and GI Joe Classified and way too much. And whatever random thing pops up. So I mean, it's definitely been a lifelong passion.
Sorry, because I was going to ask a question. Did that continue through childhood to your? Because you mentioned you were into girls, and sometimes that toys or action figures collecting kind of goes on the back burner.
Yeah, it was that, and another thing that really kind of put it on the back burner for me was I got really heavy into comics when I was like in my early teens. And so comic collecting was really big for me. And I had a math teacher in high school that would actually, he had been a collector his entire life, and he would bring just big boxes of comics and give them to me to read. And they were really old things, like, I mean, you know, classic X-Men comics and Avengers and Batman, and it really just kindled this fire for comic books, which is a big part of why I'm, you know, into all of that today, and so into all the DC and Marvel content. Um, and so yeah, that definitely pulled me away from the toy collecting. But I did get back into it before I was out of high school. And then there was a little bit of a break during the college years. And then there was a break for, you know, a good 15 years or so, where I just kind of stopped collecting, focused on work and raising kids. And then the pandemic happened, along with another slew of just bad
Yeah.
luck and bad things. Um, and and it, you know, I found myself alone again, but this time I was miserable, and I had to think of, you know, when was I happiest being alone. And so then I looked back on my childhood, and I remembered those times sitting on the floor playing with my action figures. And now, you know, that kind of brought me back into it. It made me realize that in order for me to find peace and recenter myself, maybe I need to kind of start back over at the beginning and you know, remember who I am. So yeah, it's been
You,
an experience.
you mentioned when we were talking. I hope you don't mind. Do you work in a cinema?
Yes. Yes, I've been in the film exhibition industry for 25 years.
That's I love that, because you've got best of both worlds, really, haven't you? With
Oh
the
yeah.
action figures
Oh
and
yeah.
the movies as well. To be a collector, right? So, I mean, I would love to have that. I mean, I was growing up, and I mainly had posters of movies on my
Mhm.
wall, right? Do you feel it? Do you feel it helps you, or does it hinder you in collecting?
No, I mean, it definitely keeps me on top of what's.
Will keep me sane. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's definitely kept me connected with the pop culture. And it's continued to help fuel the fire within me, to and the passion and the love that I have for the toys and what they represent. And what they represent is my childhood and the emotional connection that I have to those characters and what they meant to me, you know, watching them up on the big screen in the movies or at home on Saturday mornings, on my television. So I mean, it just no, I think that they both work very much hand in hand. I think working at the cinema is also kind of helped to keep me young to a certain extent. I mean,
Mm.
I started when I was a senior in high school just to pay for my senior trip to Disney World, and I needed a job. And my high school French teacher actually was. Working part time at the movie theater, and she convinced the manager to give me a job, even though they weren't hiring. And here we are, you know, like I said, 25 years later, and you know, I'm still doing it. And sometimes it feels kind of sad because I think, man, I'm still doing the same job I was doing in high school. Um, but I mean, you know, I run the place now, so yeah, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
well, there you go. It's not the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
You're still having shirts like I do. I'm 51.
Oh
Um,
no, I've got T-shirts from middle school, so no, it's fine. I understand.
I mean, I love the I mean, your shirt, because that always reminds me of my favorite program, Magnum PI. So you must have some you must have some what's the word I'm looking for? Not stories, but you must have a uh, penchant for even the 80s TV series. TV?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, no,
Is that the
yeah,
right word, people?
yeah.
Probably need to
No,
comment
no,
below.
that's the one. That's the word. I think so. It works. No, yeah, I loved Magnum PI. I loved, Airwolf and A Team and all these awesome the Dukes of Hazard and
Yeah,
the
very good.
the Fall Guy and Simon and Simon and just all
Ah,
those
yeah.
those great '80s action series, and then of course I still also watch like Murder She Wrote and all that
Yeah.
other stuff with
Well,
my mom.
Magnum
But
PI was on Murder She Wrote, and vice versa.
yeah,
So
so there
yeah,
you go.
I'm a big
So
Magnum PI fan, Josh. I really am.
really, I didn't know.
Yeah, Tom
I
Selleck, Magnum PI.
Tom Selleck is what it's all about, man. No, I always loved Magnum PI because of Higgins. To be honest with you, it wasn't
Right.
because of Tom Selleck. I always thought Higgins was awesome, and Rick and TC and the whole gang. And I just I always liked that show because there were times where they had some pretty serious episodes, like when they talk about their time together in Vietnam,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I, of course, I mean, I love the whole island setting, there in Hawaii and all the ladies and bikinis. And I mean, I literally would live the rest of my life wearing shirts like this if I could. So I hate having to
I
wear
think,
the
yeah,
monkey suit to work.
I think where it was for me was that I tried this is bad. I tried to mimic Tom Selleck's laugh because he's got this awesome laugh. So to be actually dumb and I couldn't. No.
Come on, do it. Come on, you can do it.
There we go.
There we go.
It's the best I can do because he's
No,
got a
it's
bit of
good.
this. So that's it. But
See, my whole thing is the turn and
yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, I'm not really keen on the new one, to be quite honest with you.
I have not even given it a chance, to be honest with you.
I boycotted it. I said to a couple of friends of mine here, I'm boycotting the new one.
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't
um,
watch the new MacGyver either. It's just not,
uh,
it's not the same.
I did watch one or two series, but now I couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
So I just hopefully they won't do a Simon and Simon.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
It's all about remaking stuff from the 80s these days. They're just stripping our childhood and raping us with nostalgia. So
The thing was that talk about this a little bit more. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart were going to actually do a film, Magnum PI. And this is really stupid. I was really stupid back then, and
I'm trying to picture the two of them in Magnum PI.
well, the thing is that I went on Instagram, and he's got an Instagram. So I said something on Instagram. I said, "Look, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't sully Magnum PI." And I gave him the cast who I would want to be Tom Selleck and Rick and TC and Higgins, right? So because I was stupid enough to do it. So my cast, if they do a film, would be Hugh Jackman as Tom Selleck, Anthony Hopkins is Higgins.
See that? Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Jeremy Renner is Rick. TC Anthony Mackie. All right.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So I haven't got a Carol or one other two, but I thought, well, yeah, why not? Yeah, so that would be brilliant. I thought that would be really brilliant.
That would be really good. No, that'd be a good cast.
But I don't think Dwayne or Kevin Hart are going to do it anymore. I don't think they go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. If they do, I'll be boycotting that because it'll just be horrible and crazy.
Oh yeah, no, I think it would be way too much of a departure.
Yeah. So let's go into your history with YouTube, really, because it is a long history, isn't it? I mean,
oh yeah, a few years now. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been on some a couple of shows that I watch. Um, what made you? I guess that sounds really horrible. What made you go and join the ever extending cast of uh, Lego guys? What are they called? Lego.
The Lego studs,
Yeah.
yes, and the brick babe,
Yeah.
yes. No, I did that. I mean, I just love all those guys. They're just great people, and I collect Lego as well, and gave me an
So do I.
excuse to sit down and oh yeah, I mean it's hard not to, and just sit down and build. It's very relaxing. It's extremely therapeutic. Just sitting there early Sunday morning, drinking my coffee and just building, and not even having the camera on me. It's just down at the bricks in my hands, and so I don't feel like I'm really in the limelight or anything. I'm just relaxing and talking to friends, and it's just a really fun experience.
How
But
long have you known these guys?
yeah, I would say we all go back about 3 years now. Yeah, I I never touched social media. I was adamantly against it. Um, and sorry, Blue Sasquatch is throwing down some stuff in the chat here. No, I did not punch you or set you on fire, but I love you. Do you want me to?
You're just not
Uh,
watching the chat. Ask him if he's found the ring. No, I haven't found the ring, and yes, I will be coming in. We'll be saying hello to the chat very soon. Um,
is it
uh,
the One Ring? Are you looking for the One Ring?
I think it's the One Ring because everybody calls me almost calls me the Hobbit.
Well, I mean,
So,
you are where it all happened, where the magic happened.
I know.
So
So,
I actually just finished rewatching all three of those. Actually,
oh, did you
um,
see me?
were you? Yeah, you were right there in the back. I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sam Wells James's wedding party. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it was.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you, Josh?
You're,
Anyone? I was a hobbit. Did I tell you? Yeah. So,
in the extended edition, the scenes that they cut, right? That's what it was. Yeah.
yeah, that's the Hobbit, which they made into three films, which is a huge mistake.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
that book is not. There's not enough to it to stretch it out like they did, and
somebody actually
they felt the need
found.
to add stuff in it that wasn't really necessary. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible, but I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
Rings of Power bad or anything like that.
Yeah, no, and
Uh,
that first season shot in New Zealand, so there you go. Um,
it was
um,
that
that,
show is pretty looking for the most part, but it just spits in the face of Tolkien lore, and it's just not. I don't
yeah,
know. We'll see.
uh, there is Zaslav's just actually contacted Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh because they're gearing up to actually do more movies, Lord of the Ring movies. Um, so that's the bit of news I could say. Hopefully, if they do, they can bring it back here to New Zealand, so I get a second bite of the cherry. And no, Blue Sasquatch, that's not a sexual innuendo.
The cherry, that's the juiciest bit.
Because I'm sure that Shanty's probably going to jump on that one too. Isn't it?
She actually went to bed for the night, but it's late for her. I mean, it's 1:30 in the morning her time.
Okay.
So.
But she can. Shanty can catch it on the replay. She wants.
I'll make her watch it.
Yeah.
She makes me watch all the stupid stuff she does. I mean, what? No,
ask the questions of how long have you been on YouTube?
yeah.
How long
Well,
have you been?
I mean, I've always watched YouTube since it really started having any sort of content that was worth watching. But usually it was, do it yourself videos and stuff like that. And then but honestly, it really all started during during the pandemic. I was bored out of my mind, and and I at first it was me being angry, so I was doing nothing but watching all the angry YouTubers, and then that started to get to where it was a little bit much, so I backed off on that, and I actually started watching videos of a guy just transforming Transformers. Um, and that's all it was. And I was like, wow, I can kind of dig that. And
Chevy
then
should actually do that.
yeah, oh, that'd take days. But and then I started watching um restoration videos, like not toy restoration videos. It was videos just restoring like furniture and old artifacts and stuff like that. And so then after watching those two things, it sent me to Toy Polloi. So then I started watching Dave over at Toy Polloi. And then from watching Dave and being up late at night, I started watching Mike over at Usual Mike. And then I started actually getting into the chats on the live streams and started actually leaving comments and talking a little bit. And Mike told me to go and watch the Pala Boys because he was on there with them from time to time, and that was Blue Harvest Mark and
Right. Yeah.
Shabby and Universal Collector, well, Zero Hunter Toy, I don't know, it's and then and Super Awesome Geek and Tez Roland reviews and everybody. And of course that all disbanded or whatever, but we I started talking to all those guys, and Shabby was like, man, you should hop on Twitter. And I was like, man, I don't really mess with social media because I never had Facebook, MySpace, any of
You
that.
got me into it as well, mate. So
I
it's
I did not want to have any sort of online imprints in case I needed to disappear. I don't know. We won't get into that, but but um, but yeah. So I didn't do anything with social media, and so Shabby convinced me to hop on Twitter, and I never had any intention of creating any content or anything like that, and then one thing led to another. I got to know Salacious Rum really well through the community and watching his gaming streams. That's how I met like G-Force and then a bunch of the guys.
yeah,
And
great bunch of guys.
oh yeah, amazing community we have here. And so then Salacious, he begged me and begged me and begged me to come on his show as a guest, and I finally agreed. And then everybody else was like, "Oh, well, if you're going to be on Salacious' show, you're going to be on my show." And yeah, so then I went on with Tez and Shabby and them, and then I went on and did a special rant about Hasbro with Mark over at Blue Harvest. And oh man, I go all damn night about them. They right now more than anything, I just feel like they're trying to price us all out of collecting at this point.
I wholeheartedly agree with you 100%. And I'm a newish collector. I've been collecting since 2019, the Black Series and TVC. But I do agree that Hasbro has Star Wars, basically, has majorly gone downhill.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I agree with that. So anyway, you were saying?
No, I mean it's just really unfortunate, and you get so little with what you're paying for. I mean some of these figures are just literally the figure and like one pistol, one blaster, and that's it. And it's yeah, I mean that no, I just can't where are the extra hands? Where are the extra heads? Where are the extra accessories? And then the deluxe packs are pretty much just what a normal pack should be. I don't feel like there's really anything that deluxe about them. I will admit, I thought the Return of the Jedi Black Series Boba Fett, the deluxe pack on that was pretty nice just because it had the stand. But then that's a whole other thing. It's like, where the hell are the stands? Why don't they have stands with any of their figures? It makes no sense.
Agree with that, because the I have trouble posing my figures, right? Plus the weather as well. It gets really hot sometimes here in the summer, and everything falls down. So it's just like,
yeah. So no, I don't understand why they don't. I mean, they understand that they claim that they're for kids or whatever, but they know that the bulk of their market is adult collectors, and we're gonna put them up on a shelf on display. So help us do that so that we don't have to spend more money to get a little plastic, rectangle that's got a peg on it. That's ridiculous.
try thinking like Todd McFarlane, Hasbro. So
Yeah, he has stands with his figures,
all of
and
this,
it's great.
flight stand he has
Flight
as well.
stands, yeah, exactly. Because he understands, you've got a character that flies like Superman, you're gonna want to be able to pose him flying. So I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me why Hasbro they just don't care at this point. It's not that they don't realize; it's just they don't care.
It's corporate greed. It's coming to the fact it's corporate greed. That's they don't care about the consumer, really, to be quite honest with you. So, and once they did, I mean, once they did, but now it's all changed for corporate. So, I'll probably still buy one here and there because they're getting really expensive over in this country.
I mean, what are they charging you guys for a Black Series figure right now?
Well, I'm just actually peeled off the sticker. I got this because my first Darth Maul in the my collection. This was $44.99. Right.
God. I mean, I understand exchange rates and whatnot, but Jesus.
And other stores like Toy World, which is a boutique store, right? I looked at Saw Gerrera, right, and it was going for $80.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. That is.
Yeah.
That's wow.
I was shocked and stunned.
Yeah. That's for Saw Gerrera. I hate Saw Gerrera. That's just stupid character. I mean, Forrest Whitaker does a great job, but still, I wasn't even a fan of the character when he first appeared on Clone Wars.
But that's just not Star Wars, Josh. We've got action figures go for $44, $45. Marvel Legends. NECA goes, if we do have NECA, they go for $90 to $75.
Wow.
So,
what?
McFarlane are probably the cheapest one, but they're still at $30 to $35, right? Because our prices are so high in this country, even in Australia, they're high, right?
Yeah.
So when your prices go up to $28, I hear, for Marvel Legends, they're high, right? Okay, because we've got GST on top of that as well. So we're paying, inflation or rise hikes more than you guys are.
Yeah.
Right? So it could be the factor that we have to pay more to get things over or shipped over from US or UK, and so the tariffs might be a little bit more higher. I'm only speculating here. So
yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I mean, what is the cost of living like, though? I mean, are homes and whatnot a little bit more reasonable since other things are so much more expensive, or is it all just through the roof?
It's also just through the roof. here for about $1 million. Some do, and $2.5 million for the real wealthy, or $250,000 or something. That might not be too bad, but they're still pricey in our system and our slice of the world. Rents have gone up increasingly because we've just actually had, if you don't know people, we've just actually had a flood cycle batter the top half of New Zealand, North Island, and there's a lot of damage to people's houses, right? And now our food prices will go up, and so our market is going up because that's inflation's going up because of that. So we need to actually find the money somehow to actually build back Auckland or Hawke's Bay because of that horrific natural disaster, which cost 11 people their lives here in New Zealand. So it's I mean, for a small country, we are paying through the nose for what we consider lifestyle. So that's it's not good, but I've got to say, Josh, when I look at you guys spending $28 on a figure, I'll be going, shit, mate.
I'd buy two.
Yeah, I'd buy two with the money in. So, but I see where you're coming from too. I see where America's coming from, or America's high action figures coming from, because they don't want to buy a $28 Marvel Legends or a Star Wars figure without getting more accessories.
They also don't pay us worth a damn out here either. So, our wages are stupid. And it's funny because they keep raising wages, but they also keep raising the price of everything. So it really doesn't make a difference. It just fuels inflation. So, so eventually sooner rather than later, we're going to end up in the same situation. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's okay for you guys to suffer, but not just playing. No, it's all terrible.
It's all terrible, but it's all good.
Right.
But getting back to how it all started for you on YouTube, because you don't really have a channel, do you? You have I subscribed and there's nothing on it.
No, I keep saying I'm going to actually put some content on there, but right now I'm in the process of moving across the country or preparing to, and basically the entirety of my collection that's actually visible is what I keep right here as a background. All the rest of it is boxed up, and that's very small amount of it, but yeah, it's I'm kind of just walking through a maze of boxes, so once that's all settled, then I may actually start producing my own content. But I just got to where I was appearing randomly on so many other shows, and I became, I was invited to actually co-host the show with Paul and Bailey about Book of Boba, and that was kind of, I guess, my first big regular thing. And then I was doing the Lego stream, and I met Shanti through the Rebel Roses podcast channel, and we just kind of got to be friends in the chat and everything. And she then led me into all the Red 5 network people, and I started popping up on things. And she also co-hosts the SCARIF Scuttlebutt podcast, and I did a few shows with them. And then at SCARIFCon, which is the big convention that Red 5 does every year, last year she asked me if I would like to be her co-host for this channel that she was starting. And I was just kind of like, so I get to make content but not really have to do much work for it. Okay, yeah, I'm in. So, you know, I love her, but yeah, she she has to do all the heavy lifting most of the time. I feel like I'm just the monkey on her back, just kind of making stupid jokes and waving
But
at people.
that's what a co-host does, Josh.
Yeah, exactly,
You
exactly.
don't have to do anything. You
Yeah,
just make crass and really stupid jokes. You
yeah.
know
I'm there. I'm just there to look pretty. That's all. So,
exactly. You know,
but,
um, she's she's the straight man. She's the straight person to your,
she,
you know, funny man. You know,
yeah,
so
that's our odd couple routine. Yeah, she's no, she's the boss. That's why I get fired all the time. So,
I mean, I've got to admit that I've tuned in. I've jumped on the chat, and it was
yeah.
really late in the evening.
Oh
Where,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's so funny. It's so good because I can do the sexual innuendo jokes as well.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, that's the fun part about it is we we both agreed that we wanted to do something that was not divisive. All the other shows, everybody's talking about how angry they are about Disney Star Wars, how angry they are about the MCU, or how angry they are about the DCEU, and then how angry they are about Hasbro, and how frustrated they are about you know Black Series, and it just it all it gets to where it starts to kind of wear you down a little bit.
too
and
much.
and
Right?
the
Yeah,
reason that I got into all of this is for it to be fun.
yeah,
Same with
yeah.
her. So we wanted to do a show that was just about random stuff that was funny. And I mean, most of us nerds out there are all a little pervy, and because we're lonely, so it is what it is. I accept it. So we figured, why don't
His
we
my joke goes to Invisible Dog, and I don't know. So,
so we decided to start our channel, and now we're at 219 subs so far. We have merch. Not that I'm plugging anything at all. um
go play
we have
away,
we have
away.
we have multiple different designs that you can choose from. You can even have one with the founder of the Red 5 Network, Roe, also the co-host of the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, um, along with Shanti. And then yeah, we we have a show actually tomorrow night,
Right.
and we will be hanging out with Scott and Kim from the Used and Abused podcast on Red 5 Network, another great channel to check out. And we're going to be talking about Disney characters, and which ones are hot and which ones are not. And but we're gonna keep it equal. We got princesses and princes, so everybody's gonna get their fill. But I mean, come on, let's all admit it. We've all had a looked at Ariel, or Belle, or
Green
whoever.
frog, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
You looked at that green frog, and what you think? Um, so, yeah, come on,
I'm not
Josh.
gonna say there aren't any animals on the list. We'll just
Come on. And that
we'll leave
donkey,
it
I'll
there.
tell you that in the background.
Yeah, yeah. No, we don't film in Mexico. We can't have a donkey show. So, anyway, so yeah,
Uh,
there I'm done. But no, yeah, that was the whole thing. Is we wanted to have stuff that people can just laugh at, and not argue with each other about. And it's been great because we've had so many different people on, people that sometimes will be at odds with one another in other chats, depending on what the subject matter is, and everybody's just laughing and having a good time. And that's what we want. We just want everybody to have a good time and remember why we're all here, and that
mm,
all that other stuff really in the end doesn't matter. I mean,
no,
if
no.
if every movie studio stopped making movies and TV series, yeah, we might have to start reading books again. Oh well, the world's not going to stop turning. We're not going to stop breathing air and needing food to eat and all the other basic essential things that existence requires. So these are all luxuries anyway. So why we
Yeah.
find the need to
Mm,
make it something that we all like literally I've seen so many friendships ended and so much drama within all the different communities online over a difference of opinion on something that in the end doesn't matter. You know, it's their toys, their cartoons, their movies, their TV shows. It's not brain surgery or rocket science. It's not the future of humanity. Unfortunately, it's becoming the future of humanity, but that's a rant
Yeah.
for a whole other day. But
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally agree, Josh. I totally agree with you. I mean,
I have thoughts, but
it has to be fun. It has to
yeah,
be fun.
it
I mean,
does.
when I started my channel, I had immense anxiety um, uh, for my show, right? And I was thinking about my subscriber rate. I was thinking about my view rate. I'm going, so, but I got into hang out with Shabby and Sai
Yeah.
on the afternoon stream once, months back, and that was cool, awesome,
Oh,
because
they're
they
great.
invited me on, and Mike was there as well, and I just asked the question to Shabby. Look, I mean, because I was a little bit fledgling in because I do actually look at my subscribers. Subscriber rate, I go there, but I'm not too fussed about this, right? Okay, I'm not being
I
hypocritical.
would say that we don't, but we do.
Yeah. But he says that because I asked the question because I was only small fledgling starting out again on YouTube. How do you do it? How do you not actually get stressed out and rely that stress to actually cultivate an anger because you're not getting the subscribers you want,
Yeah.
right? And the views you want. And he says, don't worry about that, Pete. It's all about fun.
Yeah.
That's why I do my show, Pete. It's all about fun. And he was right. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If it's not fun. So, and that really that cultivated in my head, and it still is. Although I do check my subscriber rate.
No, I mean I love the stuff that Shabby does. I mean that he and old Lucy just sitting there
Yeah.
checking out the toys and having a good time and all his crazy dancing and everything else. Like, I mean, it's just, yes, he's having fun and he's, I mean, obviously in the live streams, he'll get into the conversation, whatever it might be. But even then Shabby likes to crack a joke more often than get serious about something. So, and I appreciate that because in the end, if we can't laugh, then, what do we have? Nothing, nothing but misery. So we got to be able to laugh.
You won't really have a show because you'd be too serious all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No one would. Oh, I mean, I guess they would, but who would want to watch that?
I wouldn't want to watch it, and that's why I love doing my show. I mean, the P.G.M Show does other things like movie reviews and classic movie reviews and TV reviews. I mean, I love bringing people The Last of Us podcast feeling reviews, and that's
Oh, that series has been so good.
um,
I've really enjoyed The Last of Us.
I'm an avid player of that game because it's so much heart. I mean, but swinging back around to you, Josh. I mean, again, with all these shows, can you say that you're a gun for hire because you don't have anything on your SITHCAREBEAR?
Kind of, yeah. I'm a free agent. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, yeah. I'm like a mercenary. If you want somebody that's going to come in and complain about a show, then have Josh on. I think I was like the only person that was complaining constantly about Andor, and it had nothing to do with the pacing or any of the other stuff that the other people that were complaining about. My only complaint was I just don't like Andor. That was my only complaint, is I just don't like the main character. The show was beautiful, very well crafted, well written, well performed, even by the main actor. But I'm just, and Diego Luna is a good actor. I don't like Cassian Andor. I think he's a throwaway character, and he doesn't deserve his own series. So as much as I'm able to enjoy some of it. I ultimately am gonna just never really like that show. I don't think it's ever gonna reach a point where I can accept it, and that gets me a whole lot of flack in Red 5 because they're all for Andor, and they all tell me that I'm crazy and that I need to shut my mouth. So,
well, Josh, I'm probably in Red 5. I like Andor too, but I'm not going to bring it up.
The best thing that came out of Andor was Perrin, Mon Mothma's husband. That was the best thing that came out of Andor, and all the fun memes that I get to make of Perrin. And I'm telling you, in the end, we're going to find out that guy's the real hero of Star Wars. That's the actual title of Andor, is Perrin Saves the Universe. So you guys just wait. You all think he's just some jerk husband that is giving old Mon Mothma a hard time, but no, he's really the true person that's going to save us all and bring balance to the Force.
Josh, I'm just waiting for a hobbit to actually walk in.
Because at this point, we're basically making stuff up at this point.
That would actually shock and awe and excite me. Really, if a hobbit just walked right.
I'd love that. Hey, Hobbit, how you doing, guy?
It's Frodo here. It's Frodo.
I don't know though. I don't know if I'd want their feet on my carpet. They're just their feet are just. It's not even the hair on them. It's something about like the hard pad on the underside that kind of gets me. The fact that they can walk barefoot everywhere is a little too much. So,
tell you a bit of a story here, Josh. That when I was on scene, when I was in the flashback scene on one of the Hobbit films, we had to wear rubber prosthetic knee to feet, left and right, almost like thick socks, right?
Okay.
But skin thick socks. They were made up and they were really hot because we were actually filming in. We were filming in summertime, and they were really, really hot, and it was tiring to actually walk around in prosthetic, hairy feet for all day, right? All day. So it took nearly half an hour for each leg to actually be peeled off each of our feet.
Wow. Wow. Half an hour. Wow, that's crazy. Just from all the sweating and everything, it just sticks to you. Wow, wow. That's still really cool, though. I mean, just to have had that experience, had to have been amazing. I mean, just to be a part of it. I mean, how did that all go down for you? Like, I mean, were they just did they do an open casting call for it, or
no? It was the same casting for the Samwise Gamgee's wedding party. Right. So most of the actors who were in that scene were in the flashback scene where all the kids were looking at the fireworks, right?
Okay.
Where Gandalf was telling the story and all these kids were, right? And I was roasting a pig on a spit. So, and that scene got cut and on the cutting floor. But still, I know that my agent got me that scene as well. So we're all there, only a day's work, which was okay. But we got to meet again Elijah Wood, Andy Serkis, and Ian McKellen, and I think another person. I can't remember. But they all walked. I think it was the last hour of shooting. They walked in. And we all shook their hands. Say g'day. And that was okay. I was absolutely exhausted. Sorry.
So you were in the flashback sequences or I guess were they flash forward sequences?
Because there was little hobbits. I think I don't know. It could have been flash forwards. It could have been flashback. So I'm not too certain. They didn't tell us. So,
okay.
but it was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun just to catch up with mates who we acted with years ago.
Yeah.
And then The Hobbit comes, and getting to meet Elijah Wood again, and getting to meet Andy Serkis and stuff like that. But how I met them was how I met with him was really tired looking, going, hey, I was completely knackered, absolutely freaking knackered, So my smile was almost forced.
I mean, how many days of shooting did you have to do?
One day for that.
Just one day?
Yeah.
Just one very long day?
Yeah. So it was good because most of the time we sat down and ate biscuits and drank copious amounts of coffee. So
yeah, I hear that the food on set is usually pretty decent. Was it, or was it?
Yeah, it was actually. In the first, I think, in the Samwise Gamgee's wedding, I think we only got, I think we got fed, but I could see all these ADs running around giving us biscuits and little cups of water because we're under immense heat.
Oh yeah. Well, the
So,
last thing they want is for one of you guys to pass out, and then the insurance people lose their minds because they have to pay for medical bills. So
yeah. But the second one was good too. Actually, they put I think they put almost a lunch spread out where you can just pick whatever you want. Because it was just a long day, and I think that they just didn't want to, didn't want to have to cart us all into another place to eat and cut us all back, because that's the norm. You see, you get put in a waiting holding area, holding pen, and then
like cattle.
cattle. It's called a cattle call. You see,
okay.
So, and then you go for lunch because there's a set time. They might be running overtime, so that's when you eat. Right,
okay.
And you may be eating it at 8:30 to 9:30 at night. Right, so for dinner, so the breakfast might be really early in the morning, and then lunch might be either 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then it's really good.
That's an awesome experience. Yeah.
So I can't wait to actually ring up a talent agent again and say, get me back on your books. I want to do small stuff. So I haven't done that yet. I mean, telling people, the YouTube land, I'll be telling people, I'm going to be doing that, but I haven't done that.
So. I've got way too much stage fright. I could never, having all the attention on me. That was why getting into this was so difficult. Because many times as I've done it, every single time I get on camera, I'm still super nervous. Yeah, every time.
Where does that stem from? Can I ask?
I don't know. I guess it's just probably just a lack of, self-esteem, probably more than anything else. Just the lack of confidence. The feeling that everyone is scrutinizing everything that I say and do, and everything about how I look, and it's unnerving at times. So I find myself very hyper aware of it. So.
But you do it with ease, I must say.
Thank you.
I mean,
I wing it, but thank you.
That's all it is, mate.
Yeah,
you wing it, right?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you wing it, and then you just have a good time. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, I used to think that too. Even on stage, performing arts, and decades ago. But you just wing it. It comes natural. I mean, your humor comes natural. So that I think that's why I like you, Josh, because your humor is natural. It's like mine. You can just spin off a yarn or a wisecrack or a sexual innuendo joke, and you made you laughs. Because that's who you are, right? And that's why you work well with Shanti, I guess, and Rum, because humor
I love him.
Humor can't be taught in books.
Yeah,
it's natural. That's my opinion. So if you haven't got a natural ability to make people laugh, then you find your way around things. But if you have, it's like Shabby and Tez and you and Matt and I and Mike, and I think everybody has got a natural ability to make people laugh in some sort of way. But I think you and me and all those guys have, I think, grown up with it because you observe life.
Yeah.
And
you
then,
find the humor in the little things,
Exactly, or you, like me, I watched a lot of TV, like Seinfeld, Blackadder, Red Dwarf, Monty Python, Mr. Bean. I watched all those, and I love that comedy. I love dry humor. I love sexual innuendo jokes, wisecracks, one-liners. I've grown up with that kind of stuff, and then that's why I like you guys and SCARIF After Dark. It's absolutely freaking hilarious how you do it, because it's just like you all come together, but it's you and Shanti just cracking each other up and cracking everybody up.
Oh yeah,
and having fun with.
That's the best part about it is just being able to have that banter back and forth, and the two of us just making each other laugh, and it gets to the point most of the time where I kind of forget that I'm really on camera, and it's more just having a conversation, and I mean that's what it's been like for us tonight. Just much more comfortable. It doesn't feel so streamlined and orchestrated, and there's not like, okay, we're going to do this and then we're going to do this and we're going to talk about this for a little while and then we're going to do this. I mean, obviously if you're like reviewing something or something, there has to be a little bit of a structure to it, but I much prefer just sort of a free form discussion.
Oh yeah, I said this to another guest. I mean, I do like questions just to actually get the party started. But it goes off the cuff with me because I can't stick to a questionnaire. It's beyond me. It's just like, I mean,
get a little scattered with it. You're just like, oh well,
exactly.
Let me ask you this then. I get it.
What's my next question going to be? And is it going to be a really crap one? So
I'm really bad about forgetting what my question was about halfway through the question. That's I'll start to ask, and I'm like, I don't remember what I was going to say. So.
I mean, I don't know how you did it with Paul and Bailey, because I mean, I think Paul was actually giving you questions, and you had to find the answer within the explanation of question, right? So that was hysterically funny when.
Well, that was. I think that the fun for me was just trying to see how much I could speak at one time without breathing. So it was. A lot of ranting on that show for sure. And it was so funny because at the beginning of it, I did literally, like, we had a meeting before we started, and I told both of them, I was like, I honestly, I don't know how I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to really talk about. And then half the time they couldn't get me to shut up. So, it works. Once I get going, I just can't stop. So
what I think what I know about you better is when, to put this on a bit of a serious somber note, when you were having trouble, financial trouble, was it?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
the house caught fire. Yeah.
So when Gord had that fundraising. So
such an amazing. I mean, what Papa Gord did, and what Rum did, and what John Joker and Rebels and Reptiles did, and I mean, like, there just so many people did so much to help with that, and honestly, I mean, I honestly wouldn't have been able to have eaten or had a roof over my head, because I had to live in a hotel for 3 months.
And I even didn't know you, Josh, and I chipped in.
I know, and I appreciate it.
And not to blow my own trumpet, guys, I'm sorry about that, but I actually did not know you from a bar of soap, but I thought, well, this guy is in trouble, and all these guys around you, because this, I mean, I've grown to love this community.
Oh yeah, and it was such an amazing like illustration of what this community really is all about. I mean, just coming together and helping each other. And there've been so many, fundraisers and events since then. And I mean, I try to help out whenever I possibly can, because it's just, that's what it's all about, is just helping each other. And as long as we're all helping each other, then nobody's going to be left behind. And I mean, just that collectors helping collectors, and it doesn't even have to be about financial help. It can be just, hey, I'm looking for this fig, and I don't want to pay what eBay wants for it. Does anybody have one? We help each other out all the time. And I think that's great. I think it's
a blessing.
thing.
I think that's a blessing. It's a blessing, but it's not in disguise.
No,
it's out there, and in the ether,
for sure.
And that's what I love about this community, because it does give, and it does understand. Yes, I mean, yes, we are going to all rant, because we've got things to rant about, but we all come together with love and compassion and respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it comes down to the important things, we're all there for each other and there to support each other, and I really love that.
But we're not. I'm not there to actually, say, hey, clicks here, give me some subscribers, right? So that's
But I mean, I think it's good to help promote each other's work and everything, and I think for the most part, everybody does a pretty decent job with that, I think. And I mean, me personally, I've been so busy with everything that I'm doing right now, I've not been able to really watch much of anything, and it's been terrible. And I've barely even been able to keep up on any of the socials, because it's too much noise. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 44 years old and starting my life over, and I'm a little distracted right now, but it's good for me to continue to do SCARIF After Dark, and be able to come on and do stuff like this with you, just to kind of keep myself out there and not get rusty, and not forget what it is that I enjoy about it all. And this is the kind of stuff that'll help bring me back into it when it's all said and done and I've gotten all this move dealt with. But yeah, I mean, I love this community. I love what we do. I love being able to share like this with each other and sit down and talk about our journeys together, and our experiences, and our loves and our hates, and what really makes us, what fuels us, what makes us passionate.
You've had a long journey, though. You've really basically had a long journey.
It's and it's not over. Well, I'm so tired.
I mean, it's only just begun, right?
No, I hope so. But I mean, I think it is for a lot of us, honestly. I mean, I think a lot of us are just now really starting to find ourselves amidst all of this insanity. And I'm excited to see where it's all going to go. I'm really looking forward to being in a place and in a situation where I can, make more content and be able to share more with everyone and be more involved in the community. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting stuff.
Right. It's exciting stuff. And I'm going to say hello to Linda.
Hi, Linda.
And everybody, Darth Muzzer, if you're still watching, guys, Blue Sasquatch, you've been in this chat. I don't know where Rolando's gone. He's gone and was still here. I don't know, maybe. Don't know. Good to have you guys in the chat. If you do want to actually ask Josh a question, please, by all means, I'll still be here on the P.G.M Show. Thank you for joining me and Josh on the P.G.M Show as my first USA guest. USA guest. What was that? US guest. Josh SITHCAREBEAR and the other half of SCARIF After Dark. Plus, you got to tell me, Josh. He was. Is that you, Matt? Matt, keep on collecting. Tell me, Josh, is rum coming back?
Why am I the guy that knows?
You don't have to answer that.
Rum, I mean, he's like a lot of us. He's just sometimes life steps in the way and you get busy with work and whatnot. And I know he's got a lot going on there. And I know that he's looking to kind of rework some things with the channel. So I have faith he'll be back. I mean, I talk to him when I can, and he seems to be doing good. And he's still spitting out the shorts and whatnot, but he just think he's got a little bit more on his plate than we realize, and he needs to take care of business, and that's fine. So I wouldn't count out Rum yet. That monkey, you can't keep a good monkey lizard down. So
no, I do applaud him for that, for actually rejigging what he needs to rejig. So yeah, take a break. But sorry to ask you that question.
No, it's fine. I just wish I had a better answer. I wish I could say yes, he'll be back next week, because I've got some Lego to build. But no, I think the monkey lizard army is still going strong. So I have faith.
It's just amazing. It still boggles the mind how long you've been going, and I've been only going since actually last year for this new show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you said you have stage fright or camera fright.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it in you. I really don't see it in you. I mean, so even when you put that,
it's there. Trust me.
Fowler's collar on, So, after dark, you must.
Hey, I am legitimately ordained, so I'm just saying. So.
You must hide it bloody well, because my career started off performing arts, and I was drinking back then, a huge drinker back then. So, and I had stage fright, and I was treating the boards here and as a trainee actor. So, and I mean, so I know how stage fright and camera fright can actually be.
Yeah. No, it can be petrifying for sure. But I think a lot of it has to do with my job. I mean, I have to have staff meetings and things like that all the time. And it's so funny because my staff will come to me and they're just like, oh man, what's this meeting going to be about? I'm so nervous about it, blah, blah, blah. And I just tell all of them, like, trust me, I am more nervous than any of you, because I'm the guy that has to stand up in front of all of you for an hour or 2 hours sometimes and present all this information and try to make it somewhat entertaining and keep you all awake. And I think that's really a big part of it, is just learning how to try to insert a little humor in what could otherwise be somewhat dry material. And in order to kind of keep things lively and again, faking it till I make it. And that's, I think that's really been a big part of it, is just running the business and working in the theaters. And, a lot of interactions there. I mean, every year I go to a big convention out in Las Vegas where the studios come out and they do presentations to us and, show us footage and sometimes whole films. And they bring out all the actors and the directors and stuff. And it's not like, it's called CinemaCon, but it's not really, it's not like, it's not something like Comic-Con or something where you have these people on a panel and you listen to them for a while and then you go pay them a bunch of money for an autograph or something. No, these guys are actually there to sell their product to us, basically. So they have to kind of cater to us. So, there's dinners paid for by Sony and all, Warner Brothers and Disney and all, and they'll have open bar and all that stuff. And we're hanging out with, the actors and stuff. They, they'll come out and talk to us. And, I've had dinner with Matthew McConaughey and Tom Cruise. And, I mean, it's not like we're best friends or something like that, but we were.
But you're just more almost doing a concierge kind of thing, aren't you?
I mean, I'm really more just there listening to what they have to sell me.
Right.
You know, and so we're sitting in the audience and they're up on the stage and they're doing a song and dance and they're showing us some footage, and either we applaud or we don't. I mean, most of the time we at least give them the courtesy, but you can definitely tell when something is better received than other things. And then, you know, when it's over, they, you know, do their thing and we do our thing. And, you know, we're all hanging out at Caesar's Palace together, and, you know, they come out and play at the tables and everything. So it's much more business-like, really. I mean, it is basically a business meeting. We meet with different vendors, like people that do digital projection and stuff like that, and they show us, you know, the stuff they're selling. So it's not just about the product, it's also about the technology and the facilities, and there are concession vendors that come out and show us their nice new machine that gives you frozen beverages that have alcohol in them, and they're like, here, take all the samples you want, you know. And so I pretty much just spend a week drunk basically. But yeah,
bad impersonation of McConaughey there. Sorry, guys.
All right. I mean, I've actually seen him say that directly in front of me, so yeah, it was pretty funny. But
how short is Tom Cruise though?
He is not as short as they make him out to be. No, he's not that short. And he's very larger than life, though. I'll give him, like, he's one of the few actors that when they enter the room, you understand what star power is. Like you feel it's like, okay, this dude is next level. He's done some great, the stunts and stuff that he does are just insane.
He loves New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a beautiful country, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, he was up here shooting a couple of stunts, I think so.
Was it something for the new Mission Impossible?
Could have been. It looked like New Zealand, but I don't think it was. But I think he's been up. I think he was, you know, that helicopter chase, and that Mission Impossible film with Henry Cavill.
With Henry Cavill, yeah.
That was New Zealand. That was filmed in New Zealand.
Okay.
Queenstown. So
I can see that, actually. Yeah, just thinking about the landscape. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Oh, that's right.
It looked very Lord of the Rings. No.
Yeah. It was taking place at a place called Kuwait. It had a K in it, not Kuwait, but you know how they make up, not make up.
You said it, Peter. You said it. Yes, how they make up words.
Yeah, no.
Like way out of focus here.
But you know, I'm getting flustered now. I gotta remember what I was saying. So that's me all over, people. I get flustered. But you think they would have done Top Gun action figs? What do you think about that?
I just don't know if anyone would buy them, though. I mean, I don't know. I would buy like Maverick and, you know, maybe a jet, and that would be about it. But I mean, I don't really know. Well, I mean, if they did figs from like the classic, like the original film, I mean, I'd probably want to get a goose and an Iceman too. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably buy them, but I mean, I buy about anything. So I'm an easy sell. So yeah, I'd probably buy that. Yeah.
You see, I wouldn't buy the Maverick figures because they're a little bit more duller than the original movie. So I would probably buy the original movie figures if I had a chance.
Yeah, original Top Gun. Yeah.
Because that's 90s. That's nostalgia. So it's almost retro. You know, than having an older Tom Cruise as Maverick. You know,
he still looks better than any of us do. So and he's what, like pushing 60 at this point, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I was on Lax's show, Lax and our show, the Swing Shift, right? And I look like death warmed up. So yeah, he's got to look better than I do.
He's definitely got me beat too. Don't worry. So.
Tom Cruise has been going for decades now. So, and really, that's a other probably good question in your line of work again is that I'm hearing that Tom Cruise has actually saved cinema goers.
Yeah,
theaters.
that's the big headline. That's what was. Who was it that told him that? Was it Spielberg that's told him that he
That's
saved?
right. Well, it's true, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know that he necessarily single-handedly saved cinemas, but I will say that I do think that he revitalized a love for more classic filmmaking, more traditional filmmaking. I don't want to say classic, more traditional filmmaking.
Action film.
Yeah, he showed that you can make a movie that isn't filled with a bunch of CGI and isn't this massive visual extravaganza, and it still draw a crowd. He showed that you can make a movie that's a little bit more reality based, but a little bit less over dramatic, and doesn't take itself quite so seriously. But at the same time, it still has heart. He really just kind of recaptured everything about the films from the era that the original film came out in. It was filled with nothing but nostalgia, but that at the same time, it built on that nostalgia with an expanded story. And I felt like it was going to basically be the same movie. And in essence, it was. Yet, despite that, by the end of the movie, I was still on the edge of my seat and I was still very excited about how it was all going to turn out and if they were going to actually pull off the mission. And I think that was just a testament to the type of filmmaking that it is, and that still sells, that you don't have to have something that's, Marvel or DC or Star Wars in order for it to be up on the big screen and people still love it. That's why I'm actually excited for this weekend, because right now the big seller is Cocaine Bear, just this completely ridiculous idea that's inspired by true events. Basically, the only thing that happened in it that was true is this bear ate some cocaine, and that's about it. The bear died about 5 minutes later, and it like ran and then collapsed. It didn't murder a bunch of people or any of that stuff, but the pure ridiculousness and hilarity of it makes it highly entertaining. And I think people just want that, just something that doesn't take itself so seriously and doesn't require so much investment in it to enjoy it. Like at this point, in order for you to enjoy the MCU, you have to have watched, 25 movies and half a dozen TV shows and and it's getting that way with Star Wars too because of the heavy saturation since Disney took over. I think part of what kept Star Wars so popular for so long was the fact that we had to wait from film to film, sometimes for over a decade, in order to get the next little bit of Star Wars. So, that slow feeding us, this entertainment, this story, I think that's what's kept us coming back for more. And I think when Disney took over and had this need to have something new every year, or multiple things in a year, I feel like it's become too hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with everything. And I think it's nice to be able to go to the movies and watch something that's just a singular thought. With Maverick, it's a sequel to one movie that came out so long ago that if you haven't seen it, then what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And then with Cocaine Bear, that's just like random silliness that you don't have to have any prior information about in order to go and enjoy it.
New and fresh.
Exactly. But at the same time, they're not recreating anything. They're not reinventing the wheel or anything. They're not trying to. You can sell the same old stories as long as it's in an an entertaining package, as long as it's well written and well put together, well produced, you got to feel that the people behind it actually cared about what they were giving you, and it wasn't about checking some kind of boxes off or whatever. To me, I think more than anything, the biggest issue is the studios are way too involved in the creative process these days. That this is art. And I do understand for them it is ultimately a business, but there is a balance. There is a way to still achieve the art and the entertainment end of it, and still get that paycheck. And I think that they just have a tendency to go all one direction or another based on some statistic that they read on the internet. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we fall in that category over here. It's, I think it's more story based because we don't have the mega conglomerate, sometimes monkeys on our back, right?
Yeah.
But we do have to actually get those monkeys on our back because we need the big distribution to come into it, like New Line Cinema, for instance, right, with Osborne and dare I say his name because I'm just looking at the Weinsteins on here on my poster. So,
well, I mean, was anybody really surprised by any of that, though? I mean, come on, that guy. There were stories going around about that guy for years before any of that came out. So I wasn't shocked. I was shocked it took this long, to be honest with you. So doesn't mean he still didn't make a bunch of really awesome movies. So,
oh, he did. Yeah, he did.
At least the studio produced them. I wouldn't say they made them, but you know what I mean. So I mean, I'm not going to stop watching Lord of the Rings because Harvey Weinstein is.
I'm not either. I'm in it. Did I tell you that I was in it? Yeah.
Really? It seems like I heard that somewhere. I don't know. That's wild.
So, but I love movies. I've always have loved movies. Right? I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not interviewing myself, Bear. I mean, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I had heaps of posters in my room. Right, so Lethal Weapon. Right, so
great franchise.
I was a big action, action man. No pun intended. Movie watcher, 80s movie watcher. Right? Grew up watching Predator, and so I kind of really you gotta give it to Tom Cruise for saying yes. It's not all CGI. You don't have to watch from all CGI. Visual effects, practical effects on location. You can still do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and that's where you're probably getting more bums on seats than you probably had before.
Oh yeah, so, and more consistent, like repeat business. That was Maverick was one of the few films that I would see the same people come in. It's like, oh, this is the 5th time I've seen it, and that doesn't happen with Marvel movies anymore. It doesn't happen with Star Wars movies anymore. So I mean, yeah, I don't know that he necessarily saved the industry, but he definitely ignited ideas within the industry that'll probably lead to a pretty big shift in what type of content we're getting going forward.
And that's the answer. He reignited directors out there saying that go to locations, do costuming, do the practical and visual effects, because you can do it. It's you don't have to sit in a place called the Volume and do a Star Wars program, right?
I mean, there's a place for the CG. There is, and it can be used to really help enhance the practical effects. But that's all it should be. If all you notice is the CG, then it's a distraction. It's not helping. It needs to help enhance and add to the story. And if it's all that you notice and you're losing the actual story and the performances in the process, then it's too much. And I feel like they had a great balance in Maverick. They really did. I mean, because yeah, there's definitely some CG in the stuff that happens at the end of the film, but it. I didn't even notice that any of it was. I wasn't looking for that because I was so engrossed in the story. It wasn't distracting me from it. It was again, like I said, enhancing it.
Okay, well, I think the chat has just stalled on me. So,
They're waiting for me to breathe. That's what it is. So
probably. But I'm going to say and wrap it up on the P.G.M Show. And I'm going to say thank you very much, Josh, for being my first US guest here.
My pleasure.
Here's me sitting in New Zealand talking to you about your collecting life and your life in general, really.
Great conversation, man.
YouTube journey. How I for one love it because I do tune into SCARIF After Dark if I can, and have a bit of a laugh, bit of a chuckle, with you guys, and saying, Josh, what the hell are you wearing? So,
why are you putting that in Rum's mouth? No, I don't know. Anyway,
I just love it because it gives me a place to unwind as well. Right, from my day-to-day crap that I was going up in here. So that's a big thank you from me to you, because if I didn't have that, I would be just going nuts. Right. So and I've got to say this again, you and Shanty gel as a team because you're just so hilariously funny. That makes it work. Even when she's firing you all the time, you somehow come back, and it's just brilliantly funny. It's that gag. It's that gag that I love.
I'm like herpes. I never go away.
It's I mean, Tina is a little bit hard to actually listen to, but she's funny also. So I you know how it goes, but I just want to thank you again for jumping on P.G.M Show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's been fantastic.
It's an honor, man. I really appreciate it. I love what you do, and I am going to have to harass you and Lack a little bit more. So I always seem to miss you guys. I'm either at work or whatever, but yeah, I'm definitely going to have to come and give old Sivrak a ribbing or two. So yeah, we'll have to do that again.
You're always welcome on my streams when I do them, because sometimes I do them during you probably at work or maybe you sleep. I don't know. But you're always welcome to jump on my stream at all if I'm talking a load of crap. You can do that. I generally do talk a lot of crap. So I love talking about movies, so that's I think it's a good discussion and topic. Anyway,
we'll have to get you on SCARIF After Dark. You can get pervy with us.
Oh yeah, that'd be brilliant. So, yeah, I could be in my jammy gyms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We have 0 dress code, so you go for it. So, as you've seen.
Yes. But it has been an awesome pleasure talking to you and getting
you as well
here. So everybody knows Josh, of course. So he's going to be around SCARIF After Dark, and hopefully Rum will come back. And Lego Stunts.
It will be an epic return, I'm sure.
So you can catch him in the chats. He's a fantastic guy, and you in the chat are awesome guys. Thank you very much, Darth Muzzler.
Thank you guys for coming out. Absolutely, everybody.
And yes, so I'm gonna now do the cheesiest thing, and I'll see you in the green room. So don't go away, Josh.
I'll be there.
I'm gonna put you back in this green room, and then All right, so please all give a hand and applause to Josh SITHCAREBEAR. Ah, hang on, wait a minute.
There we go. Hey.
Hang on, wait. Oops, sorry, hang on. Let's come back. Here we go.
I'm back.
All right, go.
I'm back.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Jesus. All right. And that is, I'm still here. So I just want to thank you all for joining me here on the P.G.M Show. It's been a load of laughs, giggles, and interesting conversation with Josh SITHCAREBEAR. And catch him on SCARIF After Dark also tomorrow night. And he will be there along with Shanti. And also you can actually catch him around in the chats. Anyway, it's enough from me. And I will say this, I will take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. God bless you all. And until next time, see you later.